The Chessnut Move is finally here, and color me impressed because this board is actually very, very cool. We're going to break down everything you need to know about this board in this review. As the box says, you can experience robotic chess like never before, and what that really means is all of the pieces move on their own. I've jokingly said that this board is for all of the haters in my comments for all the other electronic chessboards that I've reviewed that say, I can just do this with my normal chessboard and not spend hundreds of dollars. Well, you really can't replicate what's going on here because the pieces do move themselves. And Chestnut's done this in a way that has actually quite impressed me. I've been a vocal skeptic of this kind of technology, self-moving pieces. I felt like, it could feel gimmicky or cheap. I really was surprised when I got a chance to put my actual hands on this board and play with it myself. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. They never are. We're going to talk about all of the things that I dislike or the imperfections of this board in this review. But as a whole, I'm happy to report that this is actually really, really cool piece of tech. So let's start with what it is. It's an electronic chessboard. It connects you to your favorite online chess platforms like chess.com and Chess. Of course, you can play AI bots as part of the board as well. But I think most people looking at a board like this want to play online and have that feeling of playing over the board. You don't want to be staring at your computer screen, your phone screen, what have you. As of the time that I'm recording this video, it is Saturday, July 19th. Chestnut is allowing pre-orders for this board. So there's a special pre-order pricing for this board. It's going to go up, okay? With coupon code Cameron, that's my personal coupon code, you can get the board that I'm reviewing today, which has wood pieces for $630 US. That's before shipping and taxes. And then there's a version where the pieces are all plastic, and that board is $523 right now with the pre-order pricing. Okay, that's very important for you to know, because if you're watching this video maybe 6 months down the line, maybe a year from now, and you're considering this board, the prices are going to be vastly different, okay? Also, before I get into the review, just want to be very clear, Chessnut did send me this board to review, and they sponsor my channel, my YouTube channel, as well as my Twitch channel, okay? So I've always been very upfront about that. I want you to know that they support me, and, there may be some implicit bias in there, but of course, I always try and be as objective as possible. So let's get into it. I'm actually going to start this video off with pros and cons. I usually finish that way, but I kind of want to talk about my high-level thoughts, and then we're going to go deep into all of the features. Of course, I will show you how this board moves, how to take advantage of all of its really cool features. And I'm actually going to start with the cons. So in my opinion, the big, I say, elephant in the room for the con is piece design. And I'm not even talking about the bases, okay? When I saw all the promotional material for this board coming out and I saw the pieces, I really did not like that they had this base on the bottom of them that made them stick up. And I just felt like aesthetically it wasn't very appealing to look at. I've actually really been able to give them a pass for the base now that I see how the technology works and how the board works and what this base really, enables the rest of the board itself to be and to do, and I will talk about that as we go on in this review. But what I can't forgive is the way the pieces are designed. Okay, I have grabbed here a bishop and the rook. These are my two least favorite pieces. I can't for the life of me understand why Chestnut chose these designs that they did. The queen is also a little bit different than normal. I just don't like it. It's a personal thing. I'm always really big on aesthetics. I understand that they were probably trying to go with a more modern look. I don't know exactly what the plastic pieces look like, but for me, the biggest con of this board is the way the pieces look. I just don't like it. I don't know why they didn't go with a more standard looking piece, and that's my personal gripe, but maybe you feel differently. Maybe you like the way it looks. I just think this bishop with the smooth sides looks crazy. Okay. The next con that I want to talk about is the charging. So obviously, all of these pieces move on their own. You've got to charge all the pieces. And I want to be very clear here. I don't think it's a major con that you have to charge all the pieces individually. Yes, it's different than pretty much every other electronic chessboard on the market. But as you'll see, and I talk about the technology, I do think it's worth it, that having to charge each piece. But what really annoys me about the charging is that you put each piece into this charging base, and there's a very specific orientation that you have to place the piece in. And obviously, all of the pieces except for knights and somewhat bishops are uniform, all the way around. So in order for you to see how you have to put that into the charging base, you have to literally look at the bottom of the piece, kind of orient it, and then slot it in there. And for me, that's really annoying. I mean, you have to do that with 34 pieces every time you charge the board. It just can be kind of annoying. I hope in the future they refine the way the charging can be done. One easy step would be just making like a marker indication on the base so that when I grab a piece, I can just kind of spin it and see how the orientation needs to be and slot it in there. Obviously, the best way to do it would be if I could just put it in any orientation and have some sort of like, kind of like MagSafe or, all the contact charging that we have nowadays. So I hope that gets developed in the future with this board. I feel like it'd be an easy next step for them. I know in the early stages of a product like this, they just want to get it out and get it to market. And so is it the worst thing in the world? No, but is it annoying? Absolutely. And those are, for me, the two major cons of this board that set it apart from everything else on the market. Before I jump into the pros and what really sets this apart, I want to just say, if you have found this helpful so far and you want to keep supporting me and my channel, the best way you can do that is like this video and hit the subscribe button. Engagement is like the most important thing you can do. It's completely free for you and it really, really helps me. So hit that like button, subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave me a comment. That is also super, super helpful. And you'll see in all my videos, I try and respond to as many comments as I can. It helps me when you're asking questions because it gives me things to do, okay? But let's get into what I really love about this board. Number one, the price. I've already spoken about what it costs, but this board is cheaper than the Chessnut Pro by a large margin. It's cheaper than the Chessnut Evo by a large margin. When you compare it against other electronic chessboards on the market, it's slightly more expensive. But you're going to see when I start playing with this board, you're going to be like, I can't believe that this board isn't $1,000, okay? And it will be eventually. Don't get me wrong, it will be eventually. I have no doubt. Once the pre-order pricing is over, once the lifespan of this board, I think it's going to continue going up in price, and one day it will be. But as of when I'm making this video, the price is crazy. I really can't believe it isn't more expensive, and I'm not just saying that because I'm an affiliate partner with Chessnut. I swear, I'm being completely real with you guys. I would tell you if I think it's a little steep, but I think the value is there. Number two, the technology. I've been alluding to this the whole time. If you've seen videos of the pieces moving, your first inclination, or when you think about a technology with self-moving chess pieces, you're thinking magnets, magnets, magnets. It's not magnets. The reason every piece has this base on them is because they have little wheels in them, and that's what moves them around the board. That is really, really cool for a lot of different reasons, and I kind of alluded to that when I was talking about the cons. Number one, if you have a problem with a piece, you can fix this base yourself easily. Included in the package is 4 extra bases. It's 3 little screws. They give you the screwdriver themselves. You just pair a new base to your app and you're ready to rock. So everybody with concerns about longevity, obviously this board hasn't been out that long, so I can't speak to, hey, how long is a base going to last in terms of months? But if something goes wrong, inevitably it will in electronics, you can replace the base on the pieces. And that's so much better to me, because if the technology lived in the board and you have a problem, you're going to send the board back to Chessnut? Probably not. Or it would be prohibitively expensive to fix it. So I really like what they've done with making every piece move on its own. I think it's a super cool piece of tech. And it enables a lot of really cool things. The other thing that it enables is the board is quite slim. Don't get me wrong, and I'll talk through the board here shortly. The board is very, very heavy, but it's slim, okay? It's not this chunky big board. There's really only one other like fully automatic chessboard that's hit the market as of me making this review. It's come out several years ago. I don't think it got very good reviews, but the board's like multiple inches thick because all of the technology lives in the board. And to me, that's just very, very risky. Like I mentioned, if something breaks, you're not going to be able to fix it yourself. These ones, you absolutely can. And lastly, of course, the main benefit is the pieces move themselves. You don't have to move your opponent's pieces. And the best feature, which I will show you, obviously, is puzzles. It sets up puzzles. I'm never going to set up a puzzle again in my life with this board because it does it for you and it does it quite seamlessly. I already have a video. It's just like 30 minutes of me doing puzzles live on my Twitch stream. You can go check that out and you can see how it works. It's awesome. Okay. So that's the pros and cons. We're going to talk about the actual board itself and all of its features next. Starting with build quality, this board is an absolute tank. I've never really had a bad word to say about Chessnut's build quality, and this board is no different. It's very heavy. I would estimate it's like 10 or 12 pounds, so it's absolutely not for anybody that wants to travel with it. And as you can see, it's absolutely huge. It's got a tournament size playing surface, and you can see it's wider because pieces that get captured need to go somewhere. So it's very, very large. You need ample space to play with it. Big table, big coffee table, even like smaller size kitchen tables or your little bar top in your kitchen. You're definitely not playing with this board on there. You need some space to play with it. That's probably another downside I should have mentioned in the beginning of the board. But as far as build quality goes, this is super solid. It's got nice rubber pieces on the bottom to keep it stable on your table. The frame is a hard, durable plastic. The surface is very smooth and nice. It's flat. There's no curvature to this board. And the hardware, like the buttons where you turn it on, switch the features, what have you, where you plug it in to charge it, is all very solid and I think improved over other Chessnut boards. Moving on to build quality of the pieces themselves. I've already spoke about my disappointment in the design, just the look of them, but when it comes to the build quality, they are definitely solid. The pieces are wood, the bases are plastic. A lot of people ask me, they look like they would be heavy because of the big bases, and I kind of wish they actually were a little more heavy than they are. They're about as heavy as the Chessnut Pro Premium pieces, which are slightly lighter than like a high-quality triple-weighted tournament set, if you're familiar with how those pieces feel. So kind of in the middle in terms of weight. The base actually doesn't add a ton of weight to the pieces, but these are well built. And I have nothing negative to say about that. And then the last piece of hardware that you receive with this board is the charging base. It's just made out of plastic. There's nothing special about it. It works. It charges the pieces. It's got LED indicators on it that tell you, when your pieces are fully charged, and that works as intended. So nothing bad to say about that. Next, we're going to jump into what you really want to see, which is the pieces moving themselves and all the great features of this board. What you're seeing here is my iPhone screen being overlaid. To the right, we've got the Chessnut Move here with all the pieces set up. I've already paired the board and the pieces, and I'm going to, right off the bat, show you what you've been waiting to see, which is all of these pieces move on their own. I'm just going to set up like I'm playing a standard bot match. This is similar to any other Chessnut board. Doesn't really matter what I choose. I'll say that I'm white so I can show you the functionality after I make a move. And now that I hit start, you can watch the magic happen. All these pieces are going to move to where they go. And I'm going to try and let the mic pick up some of the sound because they do make noise. It's not super egregious, but there's wheels on the bottom of all these pieces, so it's not dead silent. Let me see if I can get this mic to pick up some of the sound. It might not be loud enough for my noise gate on my mic, but there's a little bit of a whirring while these pieces move. It's really not the worst thing in the world. The other thing that I can say, or that I want to say real quickly, is if the camera's bouncing, I apologize. It's really hard to get a camera high enough to get this whole board in frame. So I am trying my best. But as you can see, all these pieces are getting lined up where they need to go. You can kind of see them thinking through how to get them where they need to go. Some things you're going to notice right away is, for the most part, I'm noticing here this one pawn didn't get centered very well, but for the most part, these pieces get centered quite well. I've got a over the board look here with the camera, so you can really see if they're centered or not. But when you're looking at the board from like a player's point of view, it is very, very nice the way the pieces arrange themselves. The other thing you're going to notice, and maybe it's harder from the over the board, if you hear my cat meowing in the background, oh my goodness, he is frustrated. You'll notice that the knights face whatever direction they last moved, and that's because of the wheels on the bottom of the base. So you can rearrange them. There's no problem with that. And I'm going to show you how a bot game works. Let's play e4 and see what my opponent does. Obviously, on my phone screen, you can see what the move is, and the piece moves very seamlessly. I want to show you castling as well as a knight move. So there you can see pawns have to move out of the way for the knight, and that's actually kind of nice. At first, it's a little bit distracting, not going to lie, when you're playing, because like 3 pieces move to move 1 piece, but it's really not that bad. I'm going to continue playing here and try and get the opponent to castle so that you can see how that looks as well. I know a lot of people are very curious about that. Then we're going to get a bishop to come out. I will castle myself, and we'll see what the opponent does here for their castling. Make sure I castle correctly, huh? And hopefully my opponent castles here, and then we'll move on. Oh, no, they did not castle. We're going to play c3, and maybe they'll castle on this next move. Nope, they bring the bishop out. You guys, I'm going to get them to castle here eventually. I'm not going to provoke any other move. I'm just going to try and get this opponent to castle. I'm playing a Maya bot at about 1400 elo. So presumably, okay, maybe they're going to go for the long castle. That's pretty nifty. Maybe I'm just going to play a move like a3, quiet move, and let's see the opponent castle. No, they respond to a6. Come on, you guys. Okay, I'm going to play a move that hopefully prompts them to castle. Oh my goodness. My opponent is playing very aggressively here, the bot. I'm going to go back. Okay, they castled. You can see how it works. We're going to move some pawns out of the way to give that king space to go around the rook. And it works quite seamlessly, okay? So this is the way a bot game goes. There's no problems there. Let's get the board reset. This is the coolest part, especially when I'm making videos. I don't have to reset the board. We're going to exit the bot match, no big deal. We're going to go into an online match, and we're going to play online. This is what you all are looking for. I'm going to demo chess.com first, and then we'll get into a Lichess game. Chess.com gives you more time controls that you can play with this board. There's a limitation with Lichess. So we're just going to jump into probably like a 5-0 blitz game, just so I can queue up a game pretty quickly and get into it. You can already see the pieces are going to their starting positions because that is what's showing on the board above. I'll scroll up here so you can see that. And I'm going to wait till the pieces get set up before I hit start game because I don't want to find the game while my pieces are all getting set up. And we'll see how this works on an online match. It will be quite annoying if I end up getting the black pieces because I am not going to flip this board around. I will just play backwards, essentially. So you can see here how the board's got to kind of think a little bit to get that bishop into its starting position. Sometimes it can take a while, but you know what? It gets the job done always. And again, you can see how those pieces get arranged very straight, very centered. I'm lucky and I get the white pieces. So let's do it again. And this is going to be no different than the bot game, you guys. It's not going to look any different, except now I've got to wait for my opponent to make moves. I'm playing a live game on chess.com. I'm playing Blitz. Quick word on time controls to play with this board, and you may be familiar with this if you're familiar with other electronic chess boards. Faster time controls are not designed for this board. I would even argue that I could play faster time controls on other boards that don't have self-moving pieces, and the reason for that is I can execute a capture faster than the board can. So in this game, unlike the bot game that I just played, I'll try and initiate some captures so that you can see what happens when my opponent takes a piece. So I'll show you why playing blitz on this is not ideal, right? Because I could do that capture right there much faster than the board can itself, but we'll continue playing just so you can see the responsiveness of the board. So there my opponent just made a move. We're going to see that queen go to where it needs to go. And looks like my opponent is trying to get some sort of a mate going against me, but we're not going to allow that to happen. I actually just blundered my knight, and I am not really trying to play this game solidly. I just want to show you guys how it works. It's actually working quite well, and I think that gives you a good enough look at what to expect from this board. I'm actually just going to resign the game, apologize to my opponent for not having a fully done game, but just wanted to show you how it works, and we're going to move straight in to a live Lichess game. So let's exit the chess.com. We're going to go into Lichess, which I should hopefully already be signed in. I am. And like I mentioned before, Lichess limits you. You can only play rapid and longer on Lichess with this board. I am actually going to try and start a game that is unrated. I'll try and do 10-0. Oops. Doing the slider with my computer is not working very well. So I get 10-0, casual, random side, and hopefully we can find a game relatively quickly. There we go. It's going to set up all of the pieces again, and I'm going to make this first move in the app, because if I don't make a move fast enough, it's actually going to self-abort the game on Lichess. So let me just go ahead and make E4 as my first move, and there it's going to set the board up, and it's my opponent's turn. Hopefully they make a move, and again, we're going to play through this just a little bit. You can see the responsiveness on lichess.org. There's no difference than chess.com. It works quite well. I've played on both platforms, and next we're going to get into really the highlight for me, which is, you can see here, sometimes when you place a piece not exactly where you want it to go, it will register on the app, but the board itself will not like where you put the piece. So it sent the knight back to its starting position, and then it went back to where it needed to go. Sometimes that happens. Like, it doesn't really annoy me, but it's something that you need to be aware of. Like, that's some of the imperfections with something like this. It can be kind of funny in that way. I'll see if I can get it to do it again. Like, if I can put like a pawn slightly off center. Let's see if it it's going to send it back, and it's going to say, hey, you did not put that where it belongs. It's kind of funny. So, all right, that's a Lichess game. I'm going to resign out of that. You can see it works just perfectly. I don't know if you hear the sounds of the game. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. We'll confirm. And let's get into what I think is absolutely the coolest feature of this board. I have a whole video doing this. I'm not going to spend a long time on this, but we're going to do puzzles on chess.com. Unfortunately, you guys, with the native Chessnut app, puzzles on Lichess do not work. That's the case for any Chessnut board. It's just a limitation on Chessnut's end with its connectivity with electronic chessboards, okay? So the best part of this board is we're going to do puzzles and watch this puzzle set itself up. I mentioned in the beginning of the video, there's a lot of empty space on the sides of this board because when you do puzzles, there's a lot of pieces that don't get used. So all of these pieces are going to self-arrange themselves. This is black to move. In its current state, in the iOS app, the puzzle is going to set itself up always in the correct orientation according to the board. You can see the rank and file indices are marked, which means black is always going to be on that side of the board. So if you're doing puzzles and it's black to move, you're going to be solving the puzzle essentially upside down compared to what the app shows. Other Chessnut boards will automatically flip it so that it displays the puzzle on the board just like it does in the app. I'm sure that is coming to the app soon. I would argue that you should probably be doing your puzzles backwards anyways. It's going to help you become a better chess player. Nobody asked for that opinion, but I'm going to give it to you anyways. And I'll just show you what happens when we make these moves. Here, let me unmute the sound so that you can hear that a little bit. And we're going to continue. And it's just going to make, okay, this is something happens here sometimes when I don't make the move fast enough. It doesn't it tries to reset the puzzle back up, so that's something to be aware of. You can play with the settings, you know, how quickly, like the latency, essentially, how quickly after you move a piece will the board either try and correct the position or allow you to make a move. That's a feature on any other chestnut board as well. But you can see this works incredibly well. This is another black to move puzzle, and we got a mate in one. And we can just go on and on and on. Like I said, I've got a 30-minute video of me just doing this. It works so well, you guys. Quickly, I'm going to show you, because of the connectivity with chess.com, we're going to take a look and see if you can do lessons as well. I'm actually just checking this out for the first time. So hopefully this works. If it doesn't work, well, we're going to find out together. Let's go to next lesson. I don't know what the lesson's going to be. This is offbeat opens. Let's start. And it's white to move. Play the flank pawn move that controls d5 and turns the game into the English opening. That would be c4. Let's let the pieces arrange themselves and get it all sorted out here. It takes a second, but it always gets the job done, you guys. If this is something that annoys you with how long it takes, I mean, maybe the algorithms can improve over time. I know they've improved the castling algorithm so that it happens faster. So surely they can improve how quickly this occurs. Surely they can probably improve how quickly the pieces move themselves, like physically across the board. I'm sure those motors are not maxing out yet. So those are all things that will probably come. And let's just go down this lesson. Let's see what happens. So c4 is the correct move. It didn't like where I put it, so it's gonna reset that puzzle up. What does the lesson say? White begins a light square strategy with the English opening. Let's develop a minor piece that immediately helps control d5. That would be knight c3. And we got it right. And then black's going to make their move. So you guys, you want to do lessons on your phone on chess.com. This works incredibly well. Again, unfortunately, this doesn't work on Lichess, and I'll prove it to you guys in case you're wondering. There may be other workarounds. There are apps like Chess Connect in Google Chrome for the desktop that connects electronic chessboards to your computer, and it may enable some of these features, but natively with the app, it doesn't work. Here, I've pulled up a puzzle on Lichess, and you can see that my board is not reacting to it. So that is not a possibility. Moving on, the next thing we're going to do is show you the board editor. So let's say we want to, analyze a specific game. Well, since we've pulled this up now, it's going to rearrange all the pieces where they go. But I can pull up the board editor and I can load a specific position. So let's say I gotta. Yeah, I'm controlling my phone from my computer, so it doesn't work super well. You may have seen videos online of on an Android app, you can actually use your phone camera to import an FEN or a chess position. Unfortunately, that is not available on the iOS app yet, but it is coming soon. I've actually asked Chessnut, and they have confirmed that that will be a feature coming to the iOS app very, very soon. But here you can set up a custom position and analyze it as you go. So, whoops, I did not mean to. It's going to flip the board all the way around and put all the black pieces. Oh God, let's fix this before it does all the pieces. Okay, confirm. Oh no. Okay, let's just back out of this. It's going to set all the pieces up wrong. We'll go back in. Please set the board back up correctly. My apologies, guys. And we can take a look. You can see there it's giving you the engine lines. You could, let's say you have an over-the-board game in your, your chess scorebook that you have, for example. Like here, I've got an old one of my own. We pull up a game and we can analyze a game that I've played. You can play through that on this board and it's going to give you the lines, right? So I played e4. And you're just making all of the moves here. My opponent in this game played e5, and you can see the engine continue to update as you make these moves. I'm not going to go through a whole game, you guys. Maybe we make like a blunder and just see what the engine says. Obviously, now it's 5.7 in favor of white, if you can read that, because we blundered the black bishop. So you can use the board to physically analyze games if you so wish. You can set up specific positions. You can play on from specific positions. It's no different than really any of the other Chessnut boards in that way. And in the new Chessnut app, there is a career mode and an engine mode. You can load your own engines. You can create custom engines. That is a feature that came from the Evo. That's something very, very cool. I'm not going to walk through exactly how to do that because that's not a Chessnut Move specific feature. Neither is the career mode, but you can continue to improve your elo by playing the bot. You know, it's going to reset the board up again. This is like a 525 stockfish bot. You play, you win, it goes up, etc. If you're into that, maybe you are, then you can play through that game mode. It's very simple. It's just bot matches. I don't feel like it's worth going through. Other features worth mentioning, they highlight on the box of the board as well as in promotional videos this voice feature of the board. It does work, but I don't like it, and I'm going to tell you why. All right, let's fire up a bot match. I'm going to tell you why. It's because it doesn't use normal like movement notation to achieve the voice. So hold on, I have to go back, confirm. I've got to go into my settings real quick. Preferences, speech recognition. We want that. And we're going to go back. We're going to go home. We're going to start that bot match one more time. I'm going to play as white. We'll start. And there should be a symbol that gives me an opportunity to trigger a microphone. So again, and I'm going to leave this in the video, you guys. I think it's important to show you that sometimes the app and the connection with the board doesn't always work out exactly as planned. Let me again try this. We're going to play Maya from the white side. Unlimited time control, no big deal. We'll start, and there really should be like a microphone button. I'm not seeing it, at least in my overlay here. It should be right here. Let's see if it works. E2 to E4. And you hear me there. It's not the natural way that you would do a voice to move type, right? I can't play E4. Similarly with like if knight C3, you would have to say G1 to, B1 to C3 if you're playing knight C3. Let me see if I can get this to work. Speech recognition closed. We'll go back, and then I'm going to turn it back on. Home. Let's try setting this up one more time. And I know this doesn't make for good content in terms of video, but like I said, it's important for you guys to see how this actually works. And sometimes it doesn't. I mean, that's just the way that it goes. Maybe let's try against stockfish. All right, let's play white against stockfish. Start. I'm not seeing the audio. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, you guys. You know what's going on here? All right. I know what's going on. It's because I'm connected to the app, and that's not going to work when I'm connected to the app. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to disconnect my Bluetooth. So you can't see it here, but down below, you can see my hands. Down below, I'm just going to turn Bluetooth off. I'm going to disconnect it from my app. This allows me to start games from the board itself. There's this little M button. I'm going to click that. It's you can see all these LEDs lit up on the white side of the board. That means I'm playing as white. If I were to short press that again, it would go to black. And if I were to short press again, it would show LEDs on both sides, meaning you're just going to play a normal over-the-board game on this board, which you absolutely can do and save. But in this case, I want to play a bot game from the white pieces. I'm going to long press that button. It's going to show me now all the LEDs are lit up on the H file, which is indicating difficulty. If I short press, now all the ones on the G file and so on and so forth, I can make that bot harder. But I'm going to long press and start this game. And I wonder if I can do voice control now. E2 to E4. I think it has to do with the way that I'm using my phone with my Mac right now, you guys, that voice control is not working. But here you can see I've started this bot game without utilizing the app. when this game concludes, whether by manually stopping it by long pressing that M button on the side, or if there's a checkmate on the board, it will save and you can go find it. So why don't I do that? I'm going to end this game and then I'm going to reconnect to the Bluetooth. So I push that Bluetooth button on my board. I go into my app. I'm going to hit connect, see how long it takes to connect. Sometimes it can be a little finicky with the Bluetooth connection. Once it gets connected, I should be able to find that I can import that game. You can see this little button here, import. If we have trouble connecting on Bluetooth, I'm not going to belabor it, but just so you know, next time I get connected to my app, I click that import button and then I can go into my game record and all the games that I played over the board are there. Look at that. Okay, so the game is there. Oh, that's not the same one that I just did, is it? That's the one that I showed in the beginning of this video. So that's the bot game that I played already. But if I were to be able to get the board to connect, which sometimes, you know, I got to like open the app and close the app. I'm not going to do that to get it to connect. It's really not that big of a deal. Yeah, we're having troubles here. But that really wraps up the functionality of the board itself. Wrapping this thing up, would I recommend buying this board? Ultimately, I would. And of course, I mentioned this in the beginning of the video, but it bears repeating. I am slightly biased. I am sponsored by Chessnut. They support me. I receive affiliate sales when you use my coupon code, okay? So there's definitely a bias for me to promote this board, but I can objectively say I really like it. I think it's great. The pieces all moving on themselves, it's just, or moving on their own. It's really a cool experience. It's something that I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I was extremely skeptical of this product going into it. I even thought to myself, like, this might be the first Chessnut board I would have to recommend not buying based on the promotional content I saw about it. I just didn't like what I saw until I was able to get my hands on it myself. Who do I think this board is for? It's definitely for people who have a lot of space. This board is huge. You're not going to want to move it around a lot. It's heavy. It's for people that want to play longer time controls. I would never recommend this for Blitz. In fact, I would argue this is the worst Chessnut board for Blitz just because of how long it takes for piece exchanges on the board. It doesn't take forever, but it's prohibitively slow for playing Blitz. So if you want to go play 5 minutes, even 5-5, like with increment, I still think this is not the board for you. You would fare much better with a different Chessnut board, making those exchanges yourself. This is for somebody that wants to play longer time controls, 10, 15, 10, classical, maybe unlimited time against bots. If that's something you're into, this would be a great product for you. Obviously, it's somebody who's looking for a premium electronic chessboard. But definitely don't buy this if you don't have the space, or if you want to travel with it, or if you want to play faster time controls. It's definitely not for you. But if you have any questions about this board, leave me a comment. I always try and answer the questions that are in the comments, just because that's what I'm here for, to help be a resource for you. If you want to continue supporting my channel, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, like this video, subscribe to my channel. If you're going to buy one of these, use coupon code Cameron. I do make a commission on sales when you use my coupon code, and I try and put that money back into my content creation. And for you, there's a benefit also. My coupon code Cameron is always going to be 2% more than the site-wide discount that Chessnut promotes. So just be aware of that. If it's 10%, my code gives you 12. If it's 15, mine gives you 17. So there's a benefit for you as well. But if you have any other questions, let me know. I'm sure I'll be making more videos with this product, and you leaving me comments gives me more ideas to help showcase what this thing can do. So until the next one, take care, guys. Thanks.